Well, we did see a slight slowdown versus expectation in September. But what's been amazing to me is as we look at our 2-year comp, which is our 2-year trended sales, we have actually seen a real pickup actually in the last few weeks. So I'm not sure. Some of this may have been our volumes are so high in September that we may have been challenged just to handle the volume. So we don't see this as a long-term downturn in the consumer, at least not Panera's consumer. And as you know, we also compare our sales to the black box all composite industry comps, if you will, and we continue to dramatically outperform the trends that we're seeing from other folks. So I think that I do worry about the overall, the report that you referenced earlier, but I think Panera is actually in a pretty good place going forward.
And just to stay quickly with the macro backdrop, labor costs going up, tough to find people across the economy in retail type jobs. Is that something that is a challenge for Panera at this point?
Well, I think it's a challenge for everybody in our industry, without a question. The good news for Panera, again, is because of who Panera is, what we stand for, what our brand stands for, what we've done over the years, I think we're in a better place than most. That being said, and our turnover levels are well below the industry. That being said, it is tougher out there to find the great people that we're looking for at Panera than it's ever been. So I do think that's an overall trend. We are not completely immune to that trend, but with our new channels that we've launched, the new product categories that we've launched, we seem to be still at least on the positive side of that trend.
So you're under JAB now, you're a private company, and I remember when Ron took the company private, he said now we can really think long term and we can put in place moves that we don't have to answer to shareholders every 3 months. So what sort of moves, Blaine, have you been able to do under the private umbrella that you couldn't do as a public company?
I think one of the, as you know, Sarah, we spent a lot of time, treasure, and talent on technology and the differentiation of Panera across the channels, and then our Clean initiative, which frankly was not quite as inexpensive when we look at the total system cost as we had all hoped it would be, but it was the right thing to do. But that was pretty much all we could do as a public company. As a private company, we actually are now able to talk about, make investments around a longer-term strategy. So, for example, in 2019, we will begin the most extensive renovation and remodeling of Panera cafes that's ever been undertaken in our brand. So I'm not sure, as a public company, we probably could have done that. As a private company, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. We got to do it. It's not an option.
And very quickly, I mean, you're making all sorts of moves on transparency. Do consumers really want to know every detail about what they eat? How do you walk that line between being open and sharing ingredients and healthy and being the food police?
Well, I think Panera can never be the food police. That is not even our mantra. But what I do believe is that we have got to be the brand that is relentlessly pursuing better eating. And I think a part of that is options, which clearly we have delivered through our apps and other things, but also through transparency. And what we started talking about earlier this week was the amount of whole grain in our bread. It's only 6 of our products, but we think it's important to talk about that and give people that insight as they make their choices. And I think further with our launch of Food Interrupted, which is a video series delivered through Facebook Watch, we think that is just simply helping our consumers to make better choices with better information. In no way will we say, do this, don't do that. It's literally this entire series, this entire video series, has even very little mention of Panera. We are specifically talking about, through storytelling, stories that actually communicate what better eating could be in America of the future.